Hey,
Just watching the tape from Sunday, what were your takeaways off the game?
proud of the guys. Played really hard, played really physical, played really well at the line of scrimmage. Um, there's still a lot of things to get better at, which is encouraging when, you kind of expect that after the first game. It's easier to make corrections when you have success. I think guys like you're always striving for buy-in and belief and, okay, we can start to trust what they're saying and all that stuff. And so when you have success, it makes that easier. And so look forward to cleaning up a lot of stuff this week and get another opportunity Sunday.
We've kind of checked in with you through the spring and summer, like every sort of benchmark. What is it like to see Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack on the field for the first time? What's it like to see them in pads? Now you got to watch them in the regular season game and see how they impact the game. What was that? Like?
It was, for us, they're, I've said this before, but they kind of drive the engine of our defense. The way they play, the energy, the physicality, the key plays. I mean, so many of those plays are in critical situations. And so for us, it's those guys just keep doing it, and I think they had a lot of fun out there. I think they enjoy obviously being on the field together, which they haven't had an opportunity to do a ton. And so love the energy that they play with, love how just game altering they were, certainly, and much respect, and look forward to seeing that a bunch this year.
I had some rush packages with all four of them in there, and Morgan on the inside. What'd you like about that grouping?
Yeah, it's just such a matchup league, and so situational football is always trying to figure out the best 11 for a given situation. Sometimes that's, bigger D linemen and less whatever. Sometimes it's more DB. Sometimes it's more whatever. So it's just really trying to figure out the best thing for us that we have available for that given situation that we have the offense in. Felt like it gave us some good options of what we could do, with those five guys all capable of winning one-on-ones, and it sets up a lot of things. So, guys had fun with it, and I definitely think it's something we can keep building on throughout the year.
It looked like they were getting the ball out pretty quickly when you showed that package and screens and stuff. Like, do you have to worry about when you have all four of them out there that teams are just going to check to?
Yeah, definitely. It's a cat and mouse game though too. So sometimes on 3rd and 10, them throwing a screen is actually a good thing. So I think there's good and bad. We fortunately had great pursuit on those screens and were able to knock the ball down on I think all three of them that they did. So it's a little bit of that. It's back and forth. At some point, hopefully they're in a situation where they got to drop back and we can see those guys really work. But it gives us a lot of versatility and flexibility. Sometimes it's those five. Sometimes it's four of them. Sometimes it's more DBs. So just the trying to build different ways to attack people in different situations with the personnel that we have, and that's certainly a major part of it.
What was the game like? I mean, that was your first game back in the league. Did it go as planned? Were there any surprises, things that you didn't plan? Obviously.
Yeah, it's hard to really even know. The first game is such an unknown, particularly in the situation. We're new. They're half the ball that we're defending is new in a sense of a new coordinator, a new quarterback. And truthfully, that's like the whole idea of like, guys, this is just training camp. And we didn't really try to overdo, hey, here's what they're going to do in this situation. Here's what they're going to do here. They're new. We're new. Let's play football. Let's trust each other. Let's communicate. And so in that regard, I would say, I was pleased with just how the guys acted in that regard, and nothing really surprised us. And so just, throughout the course of the game, I think the thing I was probably most excited about was just responding after some bad plays happened. That was a big focus of ours all the way back to April. Is just, hey, it's the National Football League. There's really good players. Stuff's going to happen. I think it was the third drive of the game. We couple bad calls on 3rd down. They get the ball down there. We miss a tackle, and they score. And it's like, which way is this going to go? We're not moving the ball a ton on the other side, and so that's one of those situations where it could go either way. So I was just happy with how we responded to adversity, and was able to kind of regroup and go back out there and play our game. And, certainly results, obviously you're happy with the results. So.
You kind of already asked about this, but was it, I don't know, gratifying or cool to see? Like, I mean, the last time we saw Joey, kind of was left the field, heartbroken. But on Sunday he looked happy. He's celebrating. Khalil's returning fumbles. You're calling him a wrecking ball. Like, just to see those two in action, what was it like for you?
I mean, it was, going back to, I think it was, Coach took the job and then, kind of worked my way through the process of coming here. But that's the type of thing that all the way back then you were kind of dreaming about. Is like, wow, these two together, healthy. What would that look like? How could that affect your defense? And so to see it, it's one game, and I think Joey said something to the effect like, hey, there's been a bunch of one games here, so it's now like, can we stack those types of performances? But for those two, obviously really gratifying, that they played the way they played. They were having fun. It's easier to have fun when the game goes that way, but just leaders and, guys that we want to continue to build the defense around.
Go ahead, Joe.
With the rotation at middle linebacker, what was it like having three guys with the green dot and just the communication process? And were there any snafus, or did things operate about smoothly?
No, huge credit to those three guys. Huge credit to the equipment staff having that ready. That was something just kind of had planned to number one. I said this before, like when you have multiple good players at a position, to me, they all need to play. And so at that position in particular, where there's times we had one of them on the field, there's times we had two of them on the field, so they all have to have that capability of having the green dot, staying in there in some of those passing situations. I thought they did a great job. There was zero, selfishness. It was all about what was best for us at the time. And they all did a great job. And it was similar to practice. They can all hear it in practice. And so never, honestly, once in between series was kind of like, hey, you're up, you're the next guy. Once we did that, I didn't even remember half the time who I was talking to. So they did a great job. We were able to not really have any communication issues from that regard. And so, yeah, major kudos to those guys and how all three of them played as well.
That's a big responsibility for someone like Junior, who missed part of preseason, and also he's a rookie. Just how do you think he handled that in his first NFL?
Yeah, Junior handled it great, just like I thought he would. I just think he's, for a rookie and in a good situation for him. I mean, he's taken calls from the sideline for a couple years now. College, it's a little bit different. We didn't have the helmet communication, but he's kind of been that guy, been that Mike backer, that alpha of this defense before at a different level. So just kudos to him and Dayon. I don't think Dayon had done it before either. So both those guys did an unbelievable job. Never flinched, got the call in. We never had any, hey, we missed this part of the call or missed this. So did a great job.
Will you stick with that going forward?
For a while, yeah, definitely. Like I said, we played 17 players, at least 16 snaps in the game. I'd like to get that up to 18 or 19, and I just think that's what's going to make us be better. And playing a lot of people. Troy's right there on the cusp at that position as well of playing or earning snaps. He had such a good camp, so I just think. The more people that, hey, you practice really hard, you play well, you should get an opportunity to play. And the unselfishness of the guys, it's certainly easier when you win. It's different probably after a loss. But just pleased with everybody handling their rotations. Thought we were fresh when we needed to be. We were able to close out the game. And so that's a way we want to kind of play this thing for a while.
What impressed you most about the way your interior defensive line played in this game?
Yeah, they were tone setters. Puna, Tito, really all of them, but those two in particular, the first couple drives, physical, really good on movement. Sometimes they were playing straight. Sometimes we were moving a little bit. They did such a good job of just staying square, building the wall in the run game, and also made plays. So it's one thing just to take up a double team so somebody else can make the play. Those guys were doing it all. And, shout out to Coach Elston and Will. Those guys do a great job with our interior D-line, coaching them. They're really bought into how we want them to play, how we need them to play to be successful. And, major props to those guys and how they played.
How did you feel like you guys were in coverage overall?
I thought we were pretty good. I think there's a lot of things to chase there, always in coverage. You're always kind of chasing tighter coverage, this, that, the other. But at the same time, I really felt like in that particular game with their offense that the big plays is what would kill us. If the game was going to go bad, it's probably because, hey, we let one go over our head for 60, or we missed a tackle on a Devontae Adams 15-yard dig route that he takes to the house. And so for what I feel like we needed to do to win the game, we kept a roof on the defense. We tackled well when they did catch the ball downfield. And so, thought those guys played really well for what we wanted them to do. And I think some of that stuff changes week to week based on who you're playing against, kind of what the goal of the game is. I thought overall, we gave up some yards, particularly the last drive that I wish we had back. But there's times to play winning football, and when there's 3 minutes left and the clock's running, no timeouts, sometimes completions are okay when you have a 2-score lead. So I thought the guys just played really smart, kept everything in front of us, and tackled well and did a lot of good stuff.
The one completion that got loose there for 33 yards where Minshew stepped up and looked like he was thrown to 11 and ended up going to 16. Yeah. Was that a situation where you're trying to create pressure, you drop Joey and you're hoping to get to the quarterback before you can get rid of it?
Yeah, it was kind of a D&D that wanted to kind of bring pressure there, and kudos to them. They we didn't execute the pressure as tight as I think we could have to potentially really get him off his spot and get him moving sideways rather than being able to step up. So really just all 11 working together, can be a little bit tighter on a play like that. But once again, just, hey, ball's caught downfield. Let's not be spectators. Let's all get to the ball. Let's knock them down, get them on the ground. And, when you do that, you give yourself a chance. And so I just thought those types of plays, they don't show up as huge plays, statistically or whatever. But anytime they catch a ball 15, 20 yards downfield and there's not a ton of yards after the catch, kudos to those guys in the secondary.
What's the challenge of going against Bryce Young? I mean, the 1 year at Michigan, I don't know how much you scouted him, going CFP time and everything.
Yeah, you can see why he was the number 1 pick. He's really talented. He's got elite arm talent. He's athletic. He can move. He can avoid rushers. He scrambles to throw really well, and also has the ability to scramble to run. And so, he wasn't able to get in rhythm in week 1, and so that's a goal of ours is just try to keep him off rhythm. But I know that it's a National Football League, and they're going to give us everything they got. We're excited for the challenge of him and the rest of their weapons, and just look forward to going against them on Sunday.
You said that. Go ahead, Joe. If you have.
I know you and your dad have been on the same staff at many places, but anything special Sunday night? Because first time you've been on an NFL staff and getting that win.
Yeah, it was. There's been a lot of moments the last couple of years that are kind of those, lifetime memories. So that was just another one added to the bank. Really cool to do that. Really cool to, be able to see him after the game. He's up in the box during the game. So, just those moments are so special, and to be able to do them together makes them even better.
Jim said that the defensive line has really turned into a strength for you guys. I think maybe at the beginning everyone was like, I don't know about this group. But at what point in the training camp did you realize this could be something like an underrated part?
Yeah, it's been a good while. Just the way those guys come to work and their unselfishness, their willingness to play within the framework of the defense and the techniques that we want them to play. And then it's truthfully it's similar to other guys where Poona Ford, for example, has played really well at times in his career. And, maybe not quite the same, but similar to like Christian Fulton, where maybe the last year they were somewhere, it didn't go as they wanted to. Man, these guys are really hungry to prove that they're capable, really good NFL players. And so when you combine that mindset with sort of what Coach Harbaugh is building here and the culture, I think that's a great combination. And so super happy with those guys and expect them to keep playing at that level throughout the course of the year.
Mike Elston now for a few years, obviously great defensive line in Michigan last year. Like, what makes him so effective in that position, coaching technique, and getting that group together?
Yeah, just the attention to detail and block destruction, the unselfish nature of him and what that position is asked to do sometimes. I think he just does a great job getting those guys ready to play, teaching them football, teaching them when they can anticipate certain plays, certain blocking schemes based on formation or backfield set or all the things that most people look at. And so he does a phenomenal job, and there's nobody I'd rather have coaching the D-line than Mike.
What stood out to you about Elijah, especially being able to play as many snaps as he did so soon after coming in here?
Yeah, really smart player, really heady player that has played a lot of different positions, as we talked about, and came from a similar system, which I think was very beneficial in this short of an instance to get ready to play. So was running a lot of similar coverages, in the offseason program and in training camp with Tennessee, and made it a good transition. Major shout out to Chris O'Leary, our safeties coach. I mean, spending so much time with him when he first got here to catch him up, and sometimes sometimes it's like when you show up and you can just dive into a game week, it's actually less than learning the entire defense as you would in an off season. And so now we just got to make sure that we catch him up on some of the stuff that maybe we didn't have in week one. And so as that stuff kind of variations grow week to week, that he catches up in that regard. But major shout out to him. I thought he played really well. Smart, heady, savvy, tough, good tackler, can play the ball in the air. Yeah, great pickup.
So because he was with Denard in Tennessee the whole offseason, was it as simple as him coming in and effectively just translating the verbiage, or was there more to it?
I mean, truthfully, that's probably most defenses where it's like one guy calls quarters coverage cover 8, one guy calls it cover 4, and it's like, okay, how do we play it? That's really the main thing is like what techniques do I use? How aggressive am I? This, that, the other. So I think the verbiage part is overblown. Like, I think guys can come in and learn the language. It's really like, how do we play the coverage? A lot of people play the same coverages, but they play them different, or they ask the safeties to play aggressive on one route or not on aggressive on certain routes. And so him just getting a feel for how we wanted it to look, major shout out to him. And yeah, I do think coming from a very similar system certainly helped in that regard.